Okay, officially welcome everyone to Wellspring Live. I don't remember what week this is in a row, so I'm not going to say the number of it. I don't know. Been doing this for over half a year regularly on Fridays. And welcome. I am so thrilled every time to come in here, share little tidbits and nuggets that can support you in your journey of successful spiritual entrepreneurship, I guess is the right way to say it. And again, if you're popping in here on Facebook, please say hello. I'm so glad you're here, and welcome if you're here on Zoom. So today I'm going to talk about a topic that I have heard over and over and over again from people. And I really like to, sorry, I'm just turning another sound off if I can. All right. I want to talk about this one because I want us to open to it and then eliminate this word. When we understand it, you know, words have vibrations, right? They're not just words. And so we want to get aware. I love looking up definitions of words. I don't know if you're like me, but you know, I might have a word come into my head or realize that I'm using a particular word. Sometimes I actually go back to the dictionary and say, you know, sure, I generally know what it means, but do I really know what it means? Because every one of these words is an energetic form. And then is this the energy that we really want to be in? Is this the energy we want to be activating more of in our life? And to just get consciously aware of it, not just as a word, but as an energy. So over the years, I've heard a lot of people who are starting out in a spiritual business say that they've sabotaged themselves. Good morning to those of you saying hi in Facebook. I'm glad you're here. How many of you have had that? Have you said that to yourself? Oh, I'm not making the progress I want. I'm sabotaging myself. Let me know in the chat, whether you're on Facebook or if you're here in Zoom. Or you may have heard other people say that. This is the word we're going to eliminate today, folks. It's so common, so common. So first of all, what I'm going to invite you to do is think about, when are you saying that to yourself? And if you want, you can type that into the chat. When do you think about it? When do you say it? It may not be current. You may have said it in the past, but what was going on or what wasn't going on when you chose to say, I'm sabotaging myself? You may have even looked at or thought about that related to somebody else. Giving everyone a minute to think about that. What's going on or not going on when you open up to that idea that maybe you're sabotaging yourself? And it might not be a maybe. You may say, oh no, heck, I am doing that. Okay, so just consider that. I look forward to seeing what you might have to say about that. But here's what I want to say about this. Again, I like to look at the definition of a word. So I looked it up. So I had it current. You know, we might all know what sabotage means. I mean, sabotage is sneaky, right? It's intentional. It's somebody doing something deliberately. Sabotage generally isn't accidental in the purest sense of the word. One of the dictionary definitions that came up is it's to destroy, damage, or obstruct something. Now, typically it's used, or the original intention was related to military, political type things. But we have awareness of this about somebody's trying to sabotage somebody else, or again, this idea, there's this intent to destroy, damage, or obstruct. Again, there's intentionality with this word. So for example, if I were in a war situation, which not in this lifetime, but maybe in some other lifetime, I'm sure I was, and I were going to sabotage a plan, I would literally be choosing to do this so some advantage was gained or some perception of an advantage was there. There's another definition of sabotage that's an act or a process of tending to hamper or hurt. Again, it's an act. There's a consciousness, there's an intentionality around it. So there's a comment here that says, when I set a goal, then become aware, if I do this, I'm sabotaging my goal. Okay. So what you're realizing is you're not in action around your goal, right? So that's one of the things I just wanted to bring out. We're going to talk more about this because I'm not here to tell you what to do and how to do it, but I really want you to eliminate this word because it's a very powerful energy that I actually am going to tell you, you're not doing that. I'm going to put a stake in the ground because you're not doing anything intentional. Because I want you to think about this for a moment. When the times in your business or even in your personal life, because we might say, oh, I had some fitness goals, or I had some health eating goals, or I had some personal development goals, and I didn't do it, so I must be sabotaging myself. Were you really doing it intentionally? Were you saying, I'm going to hurt myself right now? I'm going to go out and do this intentionally. Okay, I don't believe you were. Now, I see some more comments coming in here. I used to do that to myself in words. And then when I end up 180 degrees in the opposite direction of my expressed intention or stated goal, that might be when somebody is going to maybe notice and think they have intentionally sabotaged themselves. But generally speaking, when we look at what's going on or not going on, what it is we haven't met, as some of you are already chiming in here, we haven't achieved our goal. We haven't met our goal. So there's some level that we're disappointed. Now, most of the time, and again, I'm going to invite you to think, when have I felt this? Maybe you're currently feeling it. Maybe you felt it in the past. When has this happened? Sometimes it's when we have where we are and we have this goal, but we actually don't quite know how to get there. We might not know the exact right steps. We might not have the clarity of action. We just know we're here. We just determine we want to go there. And when we don't see it, we decide that we've done something intentionally against ourselves. Okay, so it's basically not making the progress that we want. How many of you can see that? I didn't make the progress, or I didn't end up where I thought, so I must have done something wrong. Okay, so let's open up to the idea that maybe we were doing the best we could, and we weren't deliberately, consciously, intentionally trying to hurt ourselves. Very rarely are we choosing, like, this is a good day, I'm going to really be awful to myself today. We don't generally do that. But when there's this place where I didn't get to where I wanted to be, we want to just hold ourselves in some level of esteem and be able to say, okay, I didn't get there. What do I need to do to move forward? And if you were part of the 5-day Your Spiritual Business Unblocked, you've heard some of this type of thinking before, but is it that where you are and where you're desiring to be, it may be a little bigger than you can manage in one step or one bite. And there's ways to start moving towards it that are positive. Is it that you're confused? Like, I'm here and I want to get here, but I have no idea how to do it. I don't have the faintest idea how to start. Or like I've heard so often from people, I have no idea how to get the clients, or I have no idea how to get the people, or I have no idea how to ask for money, or whatever it might be. There could just be confusion in our field. When we're confused, when we're not sure what the right next steps are, we're not hurting ourselves. We need clarity. How many of you can feel that? We need a clearer energy. Thank you. A clearer energy, an idea of what are the right actions to take us there. Because I'm going to say I mean, if you think about this, I want you to feel this for a minute, please. Are you really, really trying to hurt yourself? Are you deliberately saying, I'm hurting myself and I'm going to choose to sabotage myself? You're not. You're not. So here's what we want to do. So first of all, I want you to feel like, okay, we have this word that we can throw around very casually. Oh, yeah, I sabotaged myself on that. I didn't get it done. And maybe you can't see it in your business, but again, some really common things in our society is maybe you have some, I'm going to eat better. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to get to bed earlier. I'm going to stay off social media in the evenings. Whatever it might be. When we're not doing it, instead of being mean to ourselves, because saying that we're sabotaging ourselves, it's mean. It's judgmental. It's not open energy. It's not creating a spaciousness for us to move in. So we want to get into a place of spaciousness. That's where movement happens. So if movement happens in spaciousness, and we know being critical of ourselves does not create spaciousness, how do we then create spaciousness to move? Does this make sense? So if we want to create movement, what we want to do is literally decide, okay, I'm not sabotaging myself. There is a way I can move towards it. You don't have to do it in one giant step. So if you say, how can I move forward? What can I do today? You can do it by tapping into your intuition. You can do it by writing a list and choosing one thing to do today. And you say, okay, I'm accomplishing this one thing. It's maybe not the whole thing, but it's taking me closer to it. Maybe I'm going to reach out to somebody. Maybe I'm going to follow through with somebody. Maybe I'm going to write a blog. Maybe I'm going to practice what it is that I do. So that I feel more confident at it. Maybe I'm going to practice saying the money today. So if somebody says, oh, I'd love to experience this with you, what is the cost? That you practice the money so it easily comes off your lips. So there are lots of things that you can do that get you closer. So you can just do that in your everyday life. And if you are somebody who experienced the 5-day or know that you can open up your Akashic records, you can go into your records and start talking it out. Okay, so this is like putting things together. I'm going back to primarily day number 2 of the 5-day, where you first opened your Akashic records, and we had the clean slate process and the to-do list. I'm going to kind of reference that more than anything else right now. So the first thing you can do, if you're feeling frustrated and you're not making the progress you want, number 1, go in and talk out your feelings. Open up your records and say, oh my God, I feel like such a failure. I believe that I'm sabotaging myself, even though I know I would never really do that to myself. This is what I'm believing about myself. And I'm really frustrated. I'm disappointed in myself. I have all these big goals and I'm not meeting them. And I'm actually confused and I don't even know how to do them. And, again, tell your story, clean the dross, the junk of your emotional field, let it go. And then what you can do, during that 5-day, I was talking to you about go in there, do clean slate and get out. Here's how you can hook these things together. Number 1, go in and do clean slate, talk it out, and get to that place where you feel a little bit lighter, a little kinder to yourself, a little bit of relief, whatever it might be. And without getting out of your records, then say, whether you're taking your list in there of like, what should I do first? Or try and ask, what's one thing I can do today? Or what's one thing I can do this week to move me closer to this desire and this vision that I have? So you're putting you could, again, have your to-do list that you've already created. You could work at creating it in there, but getting that support, the energetic support and alignment that's available to you through the Akashic records can be really helpful. And as you receive that guidance or that awareness while you're in your records, then follow through. then follow through. Remember, we want, if we're going to ask and we receive something, we want to do it, put it into action. It anchors the energy, and that's how we make the forward progress. Okay, so I'm going to tie more things together here. Remember, I talked in the 5-day also, if you receive something that you feel like, I really can't do that, I'm not ready to do this, it's okay to talk to your soul guidance team and say, I'm not ready to do this. This feels like too much. I'm too scared. There's no way. I don't have the time. Negotiate with them. It's okay. They're not going to give you something that you can't do. They're not going to give you something you cannot do. But if for some reason you do feel like it's not possible for me, please tell them, just like you'd tell a friend. If a friend asked you to do something and it was way too much, it was way too hard, there was no, you would say, you know what, I'm really sorry, I'd like to help out, but I can't do that right now. What else can I do? That's the kind of conversation that you want to have with your soul guidance team. So you're in positive, aligned action. So again, this is like hooking things together that we were doing separately in the 5 days. And you can put them all together in one reading. Now you have, okay, these are the things that I can do. And then when you follow through with them, take a minute to celebrate at the end of your day, whatever. Look, I did these things. And so, yes, you may not be from here all the way over to where you ultimately want to be, but you know you made some progress. You have something to feel good about. You have something to recognize. I'm not sabotaging myself. What I'm doing is I just didn't even know what to do. I didn't know the right timing. I had so many things I was thinking of, I couldn't even get clear. Okay, so I know I've been saying a lot. I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to check in with the comments. And if you have any comments or thoughts on this, I'd love to hear. I'm just getting to looking at Facebook and Zoom right now in the comments. I do feel that I should have it in me to do better. I guess I need to forgive myself. Yeah. So the idea is, how hard are we being on ourselves? And like, okay, we feel our potential. And so that's what it is. I feel my potential. And then get curious about, how can I fulfill it? Because every time we're saying, I'm not living up to my potential. When I talked about other yucky energies in the topic of today, these are some of these yucky energies. How are we judging ourselves? How are we criticizing ourselves? How are we holding things against ourselves? These are literally contracting energies. When we feel the energy of our self-criticism, our judgment, we're putting a pile of rocks on ourselves. We can feel it in our gut. We move inward with it. And at the same time, we're saying, I want to expand to my next level. I want to open up to what's possible next. So when we're judging ourselves, we're moving inward, and at the same time, we're wanting to move outward. We're going to feel stuck because we're hard on ourselves, we're collapsing, and we're wanting this. So this is why we feel stuck. So how can you get on your side and be able to say, okay, I see what my potential is. I see what my desires are. I see what my dreams are. And I'm going to now decide that if I'm not doing it, what else can I do right now? Instead of being mad and upset with ourselves, instead of getting hard on ourselves. Sometimes people think they're sabotaging themselves because they've decided to get from point A to point B, I must take this path. This is the only path before me. Well, there could be a path right next to it that is easy for you. So we want to be careful about where we are deciding. It must be this, it has to be this. It can only happen in this way and in this timing. But the truth is that there are lots of pathways always available to us. That's why you can go into your records also and say, I want to get from here to here. What's my first step? And that's where you are in this more expansive energy. You have an opportunity to see things that might be there that you might not be aware of. Because the truth is, sometimes we put blinders on, don't we? We say, it has to be this way. This is the only way it's going to be. And we don't even look for anything else. And maybe we can do that, but this way with our blinders on might be harder it might not be aligned with who we really are. It might not be a vibrational match for us right now. So as we work in the records, we find the things that are vibrational match. But we are doing it from a very positive, proactive place, because judgment does not create growth and positive forward movement. It just doesn't. A lot of us were raised in that energy where the hell was judged out of us, right? As a motivational strategy, for goodness sakes. Who does that work for? The only time that works is when you're so afraid you're going to be in action because you're afraid of the consequence. Judgment does not motivate. Judgment does not compel us. It keeps us stuck. You know, think about having cement boots on when you're judging yourself. So if you want to make forward progress, it's really good to be on your side. And then decide that there is something I can do here in this moment. You're not sabotaging yourself. Now, if you say, you know what, I'm going to hang on to the sabotage idea because I like it, please feel free to. But I want to create some openness and spaciousness around some of this and other things that we judge ourselves for. You know, another one, which I'm not going to do a deep dive into it, is procrastination. When we're not doing what we think we should be doing, how many of you get on yourself about procrastination? Oh, I procrastinate. I want you to think about it. 9 times out of 10. And actually, I think it's 10 out of 10, but I'm saying 9 times out of 10. That is not your voice that's telling you you're procrastinating. That's somebody else's voice. Somebody else told you that when you were a kid, like you're doing your essay at 11 o'clock at night and your parents are telling you that you procrastinate. Now you're going to be up till 2 o'clock in the morning finishing your paper or whatever it is. The idea that we are a procrastinator usually was instigated by somebody else who, here's the thing with the procrastination is you're not doing it on their timeline. They're uncomfortable with your timeline. So they think you're procrastinating. Think about that. Because we could do a whole thing on procrastination. So we generally are doing things on our behalf. So if you're not doing something, find the thing where you can create movement around this. Okay, I'm going back to the comments because I don't think I got to all of them. Let's see. Each persona that was created in our life at the time, and it's a pattern, was established for our best intention, but now our intention has changed from when we first established that pattern. Absolutely. And there's another comment in here. I love to use Ho'oponopono. It really works for me. It does. It short circuits that critical brain, doesn't it? That mind that wants to be judgmental. And when we start using Ho'oponopono, we get into a different energetic field. And this goes back to, okay, wait, let me just see. I have another comment here. Sometimes I question the goal if I'm not achieving or moving closer to my goal. Right. And so sometimes we can question our goal, but it's not necessarily that our goal is right or wrong or good or bad. It could be that the goal is still valuable, but you want to have a shorter term goal that feels doable, like still hold the big goal. And sometimes there's a shorter goal that's doable right now. And then another shorter goal and another. I mean, you've all heard me say this. I think chunking everything down into small doable steps is the way that we make progress in everything. Keep your vision, keep that alive, keep that burning, but you're going to get there in a series of smaller met goals, smaller action items that are going to also get you into vibrational alignment. So instead of just saying, maybe my goal's not right, because I haven't achieved it yet. If you feel in your heart that your goal is correct, then start getting smaller intermediate goals lined up for yourself. And that's where, again, you can go back to the Akashic Records. If you were part of the 5-day, Your Spiritual Business Unblocked, it's day number 2. We're introducing the Akashic Records, where we're really doing the clean slate and the to-do process. I mean, there's more there in the 5 days, but that would be like an anchor point for you to start doing this and hook those experiences together to provide that for momentum for yourself. So I'd love to hear how you're feeling about this. And how many of you might feel aligned with maybe releasing the energy through releasing the word sabotage. How many of you feel like that might be a good thing to do? And if you've been experiencing that, feeling that you're getting in your own way, what do you feel like you could do today or this week, in the coming week, that would get you feeling more successful, more on your side? What's something that you can say, I can do this week? Okay, yes, and a very good thing to do. Yeah, thank you. So again, be aware of how you're judging yourself and get on your side. Be nice. Be nice to you. Be nice. Right? We like it when people are nice to us. We also feel good when we're nice to other people. It's very satisfying. And so being nice to yourself brings you into that vortex where you're on your side. And again, I go back to energy a lot. As you're growing, expanding, striving for more in your spiritual business, in your life, in all areas, the more you're expanding, the more creative potential you have, the more movement you have, the more inspiration can come find you. So that's why I want to kind of lift off any of these energies that aren't expansive. So become aware of the words that you're using, and particularly the energy of the words that you're using, and see what you can do to move it into an expansive state. Sometimes when I recognize that I'm not on my side enough, because I am not immune to this. I still get judgmental. I still get yucky with myself. I still disappoint myself. I am not beyond anything that I'm talking to you about here. But if I notice my energy is tight, contracting inward, I feel like my shoulders are rolling in, I've got a pit in my stomach, I literally breathe. And sometimes I just literally open my arms, and I also imagine my energy field expanding, like opening up, becoming like an open vortex, and you can automatically feel it. Open your chest, open your arms, breathe deeply, and visualize your energy opening so you can receive more. All right. So that's what I wanted to share today. I'd love to hear how you feel about this. If you're connecting with the replays, please let us know in the comments how you feel about all of this. And again, I've mentioned a couple of times the 5-day Your Spiritual Business Unblocked. The replays are still up. I had too many people saying, haven't quite gotten to them yet. I haven't decided, honestly, when the replays are going away. They will. But I don't have an end date yet for them. So if you didn't get to the 5-day, if you want to go back and review, they're still available for you. I had some people even just in the last day or so say, where are the replays? There are 2 places you can find them. If you're in the Facebook group, they're in there. Now, where do you find them in the Facebook group? Where you see all the little round circles of people's pictures, their little face pictures. Right below that, there's a white menu bar. Click on media. And when you see media, it'll open a new page, and click on videos. Now, in there are all these Wellspring videos plus the 5-day videos. But go back to them, practice them, go through the guided experiences. We have new people in the group. If you didn't do them, they're there. All right. And the second place you can find them is on the YouTube channel. And I'm putting that into both chats right now, both on Zoom and Facebook. There is a specific playlist that has all the Wellspring live videos in there. You won't have to wade through any of, I'm sorry, not the Wellspring, the 5-day videos. And so they're just there and they're labeled day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So please feel free to go back to those. If you were part of the 5-day, if you weren't, go back to them. The replays are still there. Again, I'll make an announcement probably to give people a week's notice to catch up on the replays. But it's worth going back to them. And today I've given you an idea how to kind of connect some of those experiences up to give yourself maybe a little bit more in one session in your Akashic records. All right, everyone, it's great to see you. I hope you have a beautiful Friday or whatever day you're watching this. You're so welcome, everyone. And it's always a pleasure. And by the way, thank you for putting up with me last week with putting a pre-recorded video. I had a conflicting commitment, so I should be back regularly with the lives every Friday again. Love to you all. Bye-bye.